This is the M109A6 Paladin. It is a self-propelled artillery piece. The self-propelled means it can move under its own power instead of being towed by another vehicle. It has a 155mm cannon on it, complete with a muzzle brake at the end and a bore vac right in the middle, and that serves to collect the gas after the round is fired and then actually use that to assist with the recoil of the weapon. The suspension on this vehicle, it's the road wheels, and behind that there's road arms, and then torsion bars is what actually rides on it. So it's a rod of metal that actually twists, and that's what gives it a suspension instead of a normal leaf spring or a strut or a nitrogen-filled shock like the Striker. It actually provides a fairly comfortable ride and not too hard to change or diagnose when there's an issue. Right here's where you put the fuel in. Storage for extra 50 caliber barrel, decon kit, water cans, Pioneer kit. Right up here is the commander's hatch, and right on the front of the commander's hatch is where the M250 caliber machine gun would be mounted. Back here we have the spades, and when they're going to be dug into a firing position for an extended period of time, they'll drop these and actually dig them into the dirt. Provides a more stable platform for shooting, slightly more accurate. On the back it has two bustle racks for storing extra gear and equipment. This side is very similar to the other side, except this has an escape hatch, a side escape hatch for the crew to get out in case of an emergency. And then up here is actually the hydraulic compartment where all the hydraulic tank, the motor, and the pump are. When the hydraulics operate, it's very noisy. We have to keep all those doors closed as often as we can. And then here's the driver's hatch. This is where the driver sits on the left side of the vehicle.
So the number one man is, he's usually the rank of E4 or below. He's fairly new to the gun, and his job is to prepare rounds for fire, get the proper round for the fire mission, and put the proper fuse on it. His job is also to load that round, and he's also the one to pull the lanyard to make the howitzer fire. The gunner is the verific for the chief of the gun. So what the gunner does is verifies that all the information the chief is reading is accurate and safe. The gunner also prepares the powder or charge for the fire mission that's going to be fired. The driver is the operator of the actual Paladin. He takes direction from the chief. There's an internal communication system where the chief and the driver could talk. The driver has to, be cognizant of, the size of the equipment that he's operating. He has to be very safe. And during fire missions, the driver takes direction from the chief as well, because the weapon system has to idle up in order to be able to complete fire missions. The crew chief, the howitzer section chief, he makes sure the whole section's in order. When he receives a fire mission, he has to verify all the data that comes down digitally is accurate and safe in order for the fire mission to be carried out successfully. Every fire mission has the potential to be interesting because you never really know what's going to come down on the other side. FDC, which is Fire Direction Control, sends us the fire missions, and you don't know if it's going to be 1-round fire mission, you don't know if it's going to be 5-round fire mission, you don't know what kind of rounds you're going to, be firing. You could potentially have a HE round, high explosive, you shoot aluminum, smoke. There's many different kinds of rounds that you could fire. So just about any fire mission that comes down could be, exciting in its own way.
Fort Bliss makes history as it steps into the future.
You guys are involved in the first Excalibur shoot ever at Fort Bliss, and ideally it's going to be routine after a while.
Soldiers from Colt Platoon, 4th Battalion, 27th Field Artillery Regiment, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Armored Division are among the first to fire the precision-guided M982 Excalibur round at Fort Bliss. By increasing the accuracy of a high explosive round while minimizing collateral damage, The Excalibur round has changed the dynamic of field artillery for future engagements.
Precision-guided munitions completely changes the battlefield, no matter if you're in Iraq, Afghanistan, or a next conflict. Precision-guided munitions is the way of the future, and this is artillery's foot in the door in terms of precision-guided munitions fight.
Fort Bliss is a premier military training installation with unique abilities to simulate combat operations before soldiers get to the battlefield.
If we are able to actually train with this round stateside, I think it'll make us a lot more effective in the long run, a lot more knowledgeable when it comes to the ins and outs of the Excalibur round and all the processes behind it, and then ultimately make us more effective when we